There are guitars that you purchase just to play. You adjust them, you upgrade them, or you sell them, and you don't really lose much sleep over it. But then there are other guitars. Instruments that appreciate in value over time. Instruments that you wouldn't dare change a single thing on them. Amidst all my collection, I probably have, I'd say, 3 guitars that I would put in that category. Want to check them out? You silly mutt. Over the years, I've collected my fair share of guitars, mostly either by being gifted instruments or purchasing, specific guitars to achieve a specific sound. But out of my collection, I've happened to acquire 3 guitars that I consider to be collectibles. My Dean Far Beyond Driven Dimebag Tribute ML, my Fender 75th Anniversary Strat, and my 2005 Gibson Classic 1960 Reissue Les Paul. These are all extremely nice instruments. They are also specifically designed to capture a snapshot of a specific tone or a specific period in music history. Now, I don't want to do a whole lot more exposition here, and I don't intend on doing like a thorough breakdown of each guitar, but each guitar has a story and occupies a special place in my collection. So I just want to talk a little bit about each one and play around with some sounds. I'll be using my usual signal flow, guitar into a DI, the throughput's going to the HX effects, which is then running to the Marshall DSL-40CR, and that's mic'd up with the Shure SM57 and the Slate ML2. First up is the Dean. This is actually the first guitar I ever bought for myself. And let's see, Dime was killed in December of 2004. I graduated in May 2006, so I had to have bought this either like late 2005 or early 2006. I tried to look up the production year based off the serial number, but this one was made in Korea by World Instruments Co., and the serial numbers on these are completely meaningless. I was working at a gasket manufacturing company half days after school, and then on weekends I was playing guitar with my buddy Steve. Somebody I knew had introduced me to Pantera, and I was jamming the Damage Plan album on repeat when it came out. When Dime died, it was a shakeup. It seems kind of odd and removed from me now because I don't listen to his music as much anymore. But it was a big part of my life back then. Dean has come out with several different versions of this guitar, but this is one of the first. It still has the Dimebag crest decal located up on the headstock, and it's got the 4-face sticker below the bridge. Later, Dean would change out this sticker design with the version where Dime is wearing all the different makeup variations of the guys in Kiss, just to allude to his love of Kiss. But the original version was this sticker that has Dime with different expressions and at different points in his life. It's a mahogany body, set mahogany neck, a gorgeously flamed maple top, and a rosewood fingerboard. And it also has the infamous Dimebucker bladed pickup in the bridge position. This guitar is a beautiful piece of music history, even though it doesn't currently value for much, and it's an important part of my personal history. Let's see how it sounds. For the next guitar, I thought about going in order chronologically based off of when I actually acquired the instrument, but ultimately decided against that because I want to save the best for last. So we are moving on to my Fender 75th anniversary Strat. This is the Mexican Strat, so it has the sparkly silver body with a poly finish. On the market, it's not going to appreciate quite like the American-made Strats do, but it's still a great guitar. It's got an alder body with a maple neck and Ventera 60s pickups. It also has the skunk stripe on the back of the neck and this cool, let's see if we can get the camera to lock onto that, 75th anniversary engraving on the neck plate. Fender manufactured these during 2021 to mark their 75th year in business. Their whole range of instruments all got anniversary editions. And originally, just being perfectly honest, I wasn't going to spring for it. But my wife, being more of a Strat, Tele, single coil tone fan, convinced me to go ahead and snag it, especially because it's limited edition. And, it's one of the dangers of having a spouse who's also into guitar. And, somebody in the relationship should probably not have gear acquisition syndrome. Otherwise, you just constantly enable each other. But not that I'm complaining. Anyway, let's check it out. Last, but certainly not least, is this beauty. A 2005 Gibson Classic 1960 reissue Les Paul. It's got a mahogany neck, mahogany body. The neck is a glue-in, rosewood fingerboard, and a honeyburst finish. This is easily the most expensive guitar I own, and also one of the best sounding. My first album, in fact, was recorded almost entirely with this guitar. Now, it's extra special to me because it was a gift. And I might have mentioned this in another video, but that's okay. It's worth repeating. When I was in high school, I got really serious about music. If I wasn't out in class or skateboarding, I was usually playing guitar. And my parents took note of that. I can remember borrowing money from my mom to get a Boss portable recorder, and then like having to pay her back in installments because somebody Steve knew said that they could get a demo to Joe Satriani's agent. And so I was just scrambling to learn how to record a demo before that guy came and went. And it was awful, by the way. Like, nobody should have to listen to that poor attempt. But, you got to start somewhere. Anyway, when my parents saw how consistently dedicated I was to music, they decided to go ahead and purchase 2 guitars that they would then hide away and give to me later. One of which was a 2006 Gibson SG Standard, because I was a huge AC/DC and Black Sabbath fan. And that guitar, by the way, I have since upgraded or changed up a little bit with some Seymour Duncan P rails and some push-pull pots. There will be a link to that video in the description. And the other is this Les Paul. So the SG they gave me for high school graduation. Other spoiled kids got a fancy car. I happily drove my little used Honda Accord and hugged my brand new shred machine. And they planned on giving me the Les Paul for either my college graduation or my first tour, whichever ended up happening first. So sure enough, I got recruited to play for New Day's Dawn when their lead guitarist moved. And we never really had a tour, but we did end up playing some decent shows around Texas, so my parents changed their plans and made that graduation present a Christmas present. And she has served me well ever since. And after my mom died, this guitar kind of became a little piece of her to me. It was a team effort. I mean, my dad was equally involved, but now that she's gone, this guitar in particular reminds me how much she loved me. And it reminds me of the support that her and Dad have shown me over the years. So it's maybe mostly sentimental, but this guitar is the crown jewel of my collection. So let's take a listen. Well, that's all. I just wanted to play a little guitar and tell some stories. I hope it was as entertaining for you as it was therapeutic for me. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you get notified when we release a new video. Also, please leave a comment. I'd love to hear some of your instrument stories, whether it's guitar related or some other instrument. Is there an instrument that over time has become something precious to you? I can tell you one more short story about my trumpet. There's this guy over here. So back in junior high, I wanted to keep playing in the band after that first introductory year and was expected to have a better instrument. But band instruments are expensive, and we rented my first year cornet, so they bought me this super nice Vincent Bachline trumpet. I think it cost around $1,400, but they said I had to earn it. And so for every summer for the next few years, I was tasked with grubbing mesquites out of the back pasture. If you're not familiar with mesquite plants, when they have adequate water, they can grow into like decent sized trees. But back in the West Texas desert, they're mostly shrubs with like sharp spines all over the stems. And they have this super long taproot that if you leave connected to water, the whole plant will just grow back. So you can't, just give it a good tug and snap it off or, cut off the top. So I would have to take a shovel and a water hose and dig all around that taproot, sometimes 4 or 5 feet down, and then set up a winch and pull all of that taproot out before filling the hole back in. And that's what I did when my parents were at work during the summer to earn my trumpet, which is now documented for posterity. Anyway, thanks again, guys. Check out the description for links to other videos, as well as our website and our merch store if you want to support the channel and get some cool swag. And you're awesome. I appreciate you very much, and have a good one.